Hi friends, welcome to SDMIC Classes. My advice to you all, nothing is impossible for a brave and hardworking person with a willing mind. So be strong enough to score full marks. Now this is in continuation of my previous videos. Part 1 and 2 I already uploaded. Hope you have watched my previous two videos. I believe you must have understood. Now let us revise again. I request you all to pay attention. Let us start. We are just revising the previous two lectures, what we have learned. So this is a revision to all. Our topic is Introduction to Bookkeeping and Accountancy, Chapter 1. We learned Introduction of Bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is a systematic recording of business transaction. Then what is that information? Information about a business is why this bookkeeping is required. Bookkeeping is required to make some information, the recording of information. That the information is required not only for the owners but also for the stakeholders such as government, agencies, investors, creditors, financial institutions, customers, employees and researchers. So this already we have explained. We are just going through again because that will give you a strong base in your mind. It will be easy to understand again and again. If I am just taking it, you can study it well. Now we also discussed evolution of accounting. Evolution of accounting, we also we learned that means so that accounting were there in India since 3rd century and till 12th century. We already discussed that in Arthashastra written by Kautilya, it was given there, and we call it as a Deshinama. It was an Indian accounting system. Though not that much popular, but the practice was there in India. Scientific system of double entry bookkeeping was introduced by Luca Pacioli in 14th century, 1494. So this also we learned. Now just this is a revision and meaning and definition of accounting. Bookkeeping is defined as an art or science of systematic recording, classifying and summarizing the financial transaction of business for a particular period, generally 1 year. Everything is we learned. Now just this is a revision. Definition of bookkeeping by J.R. Bartley Boy and R.N. Carter. This all everything we have discussed. Now let us just revise again the features of bookkeeping. See, these are important points you have to keep in mind. This is a method of recording day-to-day business transaction. Only financial transactions are recorded. Then all records are prepared for a specific period which are useful for future references. Records of transactions are based on rules and regulations. Now then it is an art of recording business transactions scientifically. These 5 points and features of bookkeeping we already learned. So now what is transaction? You know what is transaction? Transaction means exchange of goods or services or anything. Any transaction that is any exchange of goods or services, that is called a transaction. It can be a means a money transaction, like money giving and taking. Money paying to somebody, that means you are paying and somebody is receiving. That means it is the transaction is happening through bank or through cash. So transaction means any exchange, that is called transaction. So now this I think all these 5 points you got in, so keep it in mind. Now one by one points. Now this again we are revising because you must understand it properly. My main purpose is that all my students must score 100% mark. That is the thing, and also make a strong base in the subject. The objectives of bookkeeping. This also means the points you have to keep in mind and then just elaborate it by reading the textbook. The main objective of bookkeeping is to keep a complete and accurate record of all financial transactions in a systematic, orderly and logic manner. All the business transactions are recorded date-wise and account-wise. Bookkeeping serves as a permanent record of monetary transaction of an enterprise business, and it can be produced as an evidence whenever and wherever required. This we discussed in our previous things. whenever there is an evidence, means in a transaction after a year or a 6 months or a year or 2 years or a 5 year, if there is any doubt or any transaction, or whether we want to cross check anything, so that recording must be in such a way, and the bills and the documents are stored in such a way, and the recording is done in such a way that it can be cross checked and the evidence should be produced immediately. So that system that is the thing. Now, fourth point, to know the profit or loss of a business during the financial year. This is the main motive of any business. So, to know the total assets and liabilities of the enterprise, second very important thing. To know what the businessmen owe to others and what others owe to the business, like that it is. Seventh point, businessman comes to know the current year's progress over the previous year and compares its financial results with other business enterprises in similar line. Importance of bookkeeping. This also will why bookkeeping is required. What is the importance? One is the record of records. Second, financial information. Third, decision making. These purposes the bookkeeping is required. Then controlling, evidence and tax liability. So these 6 points you keep it in mind. What is the importance of bookkeeping? Just to that means keeping the records, financial records for future references, financial information to pass to the concerned authorities, and then decision making for the business, and controlling. If the bookkeeping is proper and systematic, the controlling is possible, and evidence, cross checking and the proof, then tax liability, etc. So now utility of bookkeeping, this also we discuss why when bookkeeping is done, what is the utility of it. The owner, the utility of bookkeeping is for the owner requires that, management requires that, investors requires, customers requires, government requires, lenders requires, development of the development requires. See, these are the things required. This is the utility of the bookkeeping. So the owner requires in a proper systematic way. So the utility of the bookkeeping is for the owner, the management, the investors, the government, the lenders, and for the development purpose. Meaning and definition of accounting we learned. Definition by Kohler and definition by Professor Robert and Anthony. Basis or methods of accounting system. Mainly 3 basis: cash basis, accrual or mercantile method, and mixed or hybrid method. We have already discussed that in the previous class. Now, qualitative characteristics of accounting information, this we discussed in detail last previous video. What are the qualitative characteristics of accounting information? There are 4 major points that you have to keep it in mind. When it comes to the qualitative characteristics of accounting information, you must remember, one is reliability of accounting information, second, relevance of accounting information, third, understandability of accounting information, fourth, comparability of accounting information. These we were discussing in the previous video in detail. So now let us see the basic accounting terminologies. We need some terminologies to express the thing. Accounting is a versatile system which serves a large number of purposes in the modern business world. In order to have better understanding of accounting, it is necessary to know the meanings of certain basic terms used in accounting called as accounting terminologies. We discussed in previous video, so not elaborating it, because I just want to show some other thing also in this video, in this class. So let us not go into more detail, because it is already discussed. So we need some accounting terminologies. The types of accounting information: transaction. I already explained what is a transaction. Exchange of any goods or services. It can be anything: money transaction or cash transaction, check transaction through bank, then exchange of goods, exchange of services. These all are transaction. The transactions are of different types: monetary transaction and non-monetary transactions. Okay, then these monetary transactions are divided into two types: cash transactions and credit transaction. So this we discussed. Cash transaction means whenever a transaction happens and cash is paid or cash is received. These are cash transactions. So when a credit transaction, the transaction is means exchange is happening, but the consideration is not getting at the same at that time. For example, a goods is sold, but the payment is not received. A cash or a check is not received at the same time. It may be given after a particular period fixed by the customer and the business person, business owner. Like the sale is done and the payment will be receiving after 30 days. So the sale goods transaction is recorded, and goods sale transaction is recorded, and payment after receiving the payment, when after 30 days when the payment is received, that time the cash or check transaction is entered, recorded. So that type of transaction means the immediate consideration not receiving. That is called a credit transaction. Transaction is happening, but means an exchange is happening, goods is gone or goods is received, but the consideration is not received at that time. That type of transaction is called credit transaction. Consideration will be received after the stipulated time as agreed by the creditor and the business or the company and the customer, like that it is. Now non-monetary transactions are called the barter transaction, exchange of goods only. There is no money involved in that. For example, exchange of also discussed in previous video, but still suppose exchange of wheat against rice, like that it is. So barter transactions are happening. This is non-monetary transaction. There money is not involved. Now also explained entry. The term entry means making a record, making a record in the register. That is called entry. Then narration, small description of the entry given below the record of each entry. Each entry below there is a small details of the entry is given. That is called a narration. Now goods, you know what is goods, material. Now difference between bookkeeping and accountancy. Now let us see. Evolution of accounting we learned, meaning of accounting we learned, then see definition by Kohler, this definition of accounting system. Then methods of accounting we learned, cash basis, accrual basis, and a mixed or a hybrid method. Then qualitative characteristics of accounting we learned, reliability of information, then relevance of information, understandability of information, comparability of accounting information. Now let us learn the difference between bookkeeping and accountancy. We already learned bookkeeping, and also we learned accountancy. Now you just see, it is when the bookkeeping is there, then the accounting proceeds. Bookkeeping होने के बाद में accountancy शुरू हो जाता है, बराबर ना? So it is a it is an independent thing. So like so the difference is, you can analyze, you can just very well understand that. So let us start. Means there are some 9 points, so keep it in mind. One by one we will discuss. This column shows bookkeeping and the other column shows accountancy. Now let us see. Meaning, here it is recording and classifying the business transaction. The other side, that means, whereas accountancy, it is same, recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, reporting and interpreting the financial data. See, one is just recording and classifying business transaction. Okay. Whereas recording, classifying, summarizing all these transactions, these are happening in bookkeeping. Whereas in accountancy, the other thing is that now this is analyzing, reporting and interpreting this financial data. So more advanced. So just understand the difference. when you are saying writing that, you just ask some thing, what is the difference between bookkeeping and accountancy. You can see that at least 5 points you must remember. There are 9 points, everything you can remember. It's not difficult. One is meaning, recording and classifying, summarizing and classifying the business transaction. Accountancy, recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, reporting and interpreting. That is more important, reporting and interpreting the financial data. Now second, storage. Second, stage. Primary stage in accounting, which is also a base for accounting. I told you, means this is the first step. Without this, there is no accountancy. First bookkeeping, then follows the accountancy. So then in accountancy, secondary or advanced stage includes analysis, reports and interpretation. Analyzing, reporting and interpreting. That is analysis, reports and interpretation. You understood it? So now objective. What is the objective? To keep records of all financial transactions in a chronological order and in a proper and systematic manner is the objective of bookkeeping. Understood this? Whereas in accountancy, to prepare financial statements and pass relevant information to the concerned authorities is the objective of accountancy. That means ये जो किसको चाहिए, जिस owners को चाहिए, stakeholders को चाहिए और गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज को चाहिए, जो जिसको भी है कंसर्न अथॉरिटीज़ जो है, उनके लिए जो एनालिसिस, रिपोर्ट्स एंड इंटरप्रिटेशन, ये जो है वो इंफॉर्मेशन पास करने के लिए जो भी मेन जो भी जिसको जो चाहिए, जो इंफॉर्मेशन देने का है, दैट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ अकाउंटेंसी. अंडरस्टूड? The objective of we will come again. Responsibility. Bookkeeping is mechanical and repetitive in character and generally handled by the junior staff. जो starting level से in my all ads and all this thing, I am just giving that starting from a bookkeeper and can reach to a top management level if those who are efficient and talented students and talented people, they can reach. So this is bookkeeping, the starting, the basic level. So bookkeeping is a mechanical and repetitive in character, in nature, and generally handled by junior staff. Whereas accounting requires skill, expertise, imagination, and is looked after by senior staffs. तो अकाउंटेंसी करने के लिए थोड़ा और एडवांस होना चाहिए, थोड़ा जो एक्सपीरियंस और नॉलेज चाहिए, तो उसमें थोड़ा अपना स्किल लेवल बढ़ाना पड़ता है. तो उसमें एक्सपर्टाइज चाहिए, स्किल चाहिए और इमेजिनेशन, वो थोड़ा लिटिल बिट हाई हो जाता है बुककीपिंग से. तो बुककीपिंग खाली कोई भी है ना, ये ऐसा खड़ो करके बोलेगा तो कोई भी कर सकता है, जो बैठ के लिखो, ये एंट्री करो, ऐसा करो, ये ऐसा करो करके बोले तो कर सकते हैं. वेयरएज अकाउंटिंग आ गया, अकाउंटेंसी में, अकाउंटिंग में थोड़ा डिटेल में जो कैसा है उसको डाटास को प्रॉपर ये करके उसको पूरा फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्ट्स बना के उसको इंटरप्रेट और ये सब डिटेल्स बनाने का उतना थोड़ा लिटिल बिट हायर, उसमें क्या चाहिए, स्किल्स चाहिए, एक्सपर्टाइज चाहिए, इमेजिनेशन चाहिए. नाउ बुककीपिंग इन अकाउंटेंसी में आउटकम्स क्या है? आउटकम्स. जर्नल एंड लेजर आर द आउटकम्स ऑफ बुककीपिंग. क्या है? जर्नल मीन्स जो प्राइमरी रजिस्टर्स जो रहता है वो, एंड लेजर सेकेंडरी जो है, जो भी रजिस्टर से या जर्नल से जो पोस्टिंग होता है, दैट आर द आउटकम्स ऑफ, उतना लेवल तक ही रहता है. जो प्राइमरी एंट्री करता है, जो रजिस्टर रहता है, सेल्स रजिस्टर, परचेज रजिस्टर या कोई एक्सपेंस रजिस्टर या कुछ जर्नल रजिस्टर, उसमें जो एंट्री करके उसमें से जो पोस्टिंग जो लेजर में, जनरल लेजर और जो भी जो रेस्पेक्टेड जो लेजर है, लेजर में पोस्टिंग करने का उतना तक रहता है. दैट इज़ द आउटकम टिल दैट लेवल. Whereas in accountancy, the finalization comes into the thing. So where the profit and loss account and balance sheet are the outcomes of or result of accountancy. So उधर the finalization level तक पहुंच जाता है. No, period. It's an ongoing entry of recording, that is date-wise records are made available in bookkeeping. We discussed in the earlier time also, means date-wise while studying bookkeeping, explaining the bookkeeping, I already explained that. Date-wise, why that it is required to be filed in date-wise, entry to be made in date-wise, just cross-check and just track the individual document, each individual voucher, bill or any document with the corresponding entry, so that date-wise entry. Whereas generally for 12 months ये जो बुककीपिंग जो होता है वो कंटिन्यूस होते रहते हैं, के बाद में कंटिन्यू होता है, लेकिन अकाउंटेंसी में वो 12 मंथ्स का जो पीरियड हो जाता है, उसके बाद में वो नेक्स्ट वो चालू हो जाता है नेक्स्ट ईयर, नेक्स्ट फाइनेंशियल ईयर है. सो ये जो बुककीपिंग का ये जो होता है वो कंटिन्यूस होते रहते हैं, वो प्रोसेस कंटिन्यू होते रहेगा. एक जो 12 महीने के बाद में तो वापस वो कंटिन्यू होते रहेगा. अकाउंटेंसी भी 12 महीने में कंटिन्यू होता है, लेकिन वो उधर एक पर्टिकुलर पीरियड में फाइनलाइजेशन हो जाता है, उसका रिजल्ट निकालते हैं. So generally for 12 months, and the details of entire year are made available in accountancy. Now 7th, analysis. The process of bookkeeping does not require any analysis. तो bookkeeping में कुछ analysis का जरूरत है नहीं है. ऐसा करो करके बोलेगा तो ऐसा ही बैठ के लिखते रहता है. That is the only thing. ऐसा जो कंप्यूटर में जो एंट्री करते रहो, ये जो बिल है उसमें से ऐसा देखो, ये सब करो करके बोले तो वो करते रहने का. There is no any analysis required in bookkeeping. Whereas in accountancy, based on the information of recorded data, accountant analyze and interpret the data and then compiles into required reports. Based on the information of recorded data, accountant analyze and interpret that. The data and then compiles into required reports. जो भी रिपोर्ट्स चाहिए उसके अनुसार वो डाटास को कंपाइल करके उसको एनालाइज करके बना लेता है. फॉर एग्जांपल कोई जो मैनेजमेंट को कुछ डिसीजन मेकिंग के लिए, फॉर एग्जांपल एक सेल्स का डाटा चाहिए, यानी तो मार्केटिंग का कुछ डाटा चाहिए बेसिस पे, जो क्या क्या हुआ है जो मार्केटिंग में, या कोई ऑपरेशन में कुछ चाहिए, जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में कुछ लगेगा. सो और उसके लिए जो पर्टिकुलर, और फिनेंस में कुछ डाटा लगेगा, मीन्स दैट डाटा विल बी प्रिपेयर्ड अकॉर्डिंग टू द रिक्वायरमेंट, द नीड. उसके अनुसार वो डाटा को अरेंज करके उसको रिपोर्ट, उनका रिक्वायरमेंट के अनुसार रिपोर्ट बनाते हैं. दैट इज अकाउंटेंट्स का जॉब. Now decision making, any decision based on the data from the bookkeeping is not possible for the management. अगर bookkeeping ये रजिस्टर में एंट्री करते रहेगा, उसमें से कोई ये जो डिसीजन मेकिंग हो सकता है नहीं है, क्योंकि जिससे लाइक समथिंग लाइक एक तालाब या नहीं तो एक रिवर या नहीं तो एक समुद्र जैसा है, वो ऐसा करते रहेगा, उसमें से कुछ मालूम ही नहीं पड़ेगा. Whereas प्रॉपर फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन बनाया रहेगा, फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्ट्स बनाएगा, लाइक प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट, बैलेंस शीट और एनी अदर रिक्वायरमेंट, कंपैरिजन. देयर आर सो मेनी रिपोर्ट्स कमिंग इन अकाउंटेंसी अकाउंट्स. तो उसमें वो जो रिपोर्ट्स जो बनाने के बाद में वो क्रिटिकल बिजनेस डिसीजंस आर पॉसिबल बेस्ड ऑन द डाटा एंड रिपोर्ट्स प्रोवाइडेड बाय अकाउंटेंट. फॉर एग्जांपल मार्केटिंग के लिए जितना जो है वो क्या हुआ था, या हम लोग ने कितना परचेज ये पर्टिकुलर पीरियड में किया है, एंड व्हाट वाज द क्वालिटी एंड व्हाट वाज द थिंग एंड व्हाई द प्रोडक्शन हैज इफेक्टेड, ऑल दीज थिंग्स नो उनका जो रिपोर्ट्स में से मालूम पड़ जाते हैं. तो रिपोर्ट्स और वो रिपोर्ट्स के अनुसार उन लोग डिसीजन कर सकते हैं. अगर समझो कुछ इसमें कुछ क्वालिटी में कुछ फ़र्क पड़ गया, तो they can just call the data and just analyze that, and if they want to improve the quality they can do that. and अगर marketing में कुछ problem हो गया तो data analyze करके उसको decide कर सकते हैं where they have to improve, what they have to do. so this decision making इसमें possible है accountancy में, but bookkeeping में it's not possible. so accountancy is very important. now skill required, bookkeeping में कुछ skill required है क्या? no, bookkeeping doesn't require any analytical skill, क्योंकि वो just एंट्री है, वो जैसे बेसिक लेवल है, जैसा करते जाओ बस. whereas accountancy requires analytical skill. तो ऑलरेडी हम लोग ने इधर जो बताया हुआ है, skill is required in this accountancy. so we learned this part. अभी हम लोग क्या करते हैं, दिस अगेन वी विल जस्ट गो थ्रू दैट डिफरेंस बिटवीन बुक कीपिंग एंड अकाउंटेंसी. सो what I am telling you, just go through these 9 points again. Meaning, stage, objective, responsibility, outcomes, then period, analysis, decision making, skill required. These 9 points uske basis pe, and it's very simple, very easy. Just apply your mind, you can very easily understand this. So now let us move to the other part. मैं आज आप लोगों को मीन्स जो कुछ invoices, what is invoice? So these are the common things I am just giving for the knowledge of the public also. But though it is not required for you, but you should understand that what is an invoice और क्या टाइप का invoice होता है. और वो मैंने आपको बता देता हूँ फॉर योर जनरल नॉलेज, फॉर योर पर्पस. कल टुमारो इफ़ यू सी दैट व्हाट इज़, ये कुछ देखेगा तो तुरंत ही आपको लगेगा ये क्या है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड, दैट इज़ रीज़न. ये जो इसके बाद में तो ये सीखने के बाद में आपको ये मालूम पड़ना चाहिए. सो दिस little bit advanced knowledge I am giving to you. Okay, so though it is a basic document, but you should know invoice क्या है. Okay, let us come to this. Now, some shops, if you go, you just buy some material. People, you ask for a bill, so they may just give like this a type of memo. See, estimate or a quotation like that. An estimate. Most of the time, people just give an estimate, or sometimes they give a quotation type, or some like that. They give estimate. So, is this an invoice? No. Is this a genuine bill? No, it is not a bill. If this is given, you cannot means sue if the material is fault. Okay, material में कुछ अगर प्रॉब्लम रहेगा, अगर उन लोगों ने कुछ एस्टिमेट दिया है, so you cannot sue the customer. Okay, you cannot, the court will not accept this, or any means legal organization or legal entity will not entertain this type of invoice. This is just information. This is not an invoice. Estimate or invoices means just giving an estimate what will be the amount, whereas a quotation is that what will be the price or quotation the product का ये है. So this is not an invoice. This is not an actual bill. So just understand that. Somebody gives you an estimate and just say that आपका बिल ये है, तो आप लोग लेके आया, तो वो बिल वो एस्टिमेट देख के बोलेगा चलो ठीक है ये जो है, वो कोई भी लिख के दे सकता है. दिस नॉट एन एस्टिमेट, इट कैन नॉट बी एंटर्ड इनटू ए रजिस्टर. ये सेल्स बिल नहीं है तो सेल्स बिल उसका रिकॉर्ड में एंट्री नहीं करेगा. और ये एस्टिमेट है तो इसके लिए आपका रजिस्टर में भी ये एंट्री नहीं कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट एन वैलिड इनवॉइस और ए कैश मेमो और ए बिल. ना मैंने आपको बता रहा हूँ मीन्स जो कैश मेमो, मैंने एक जैसे एक एग्जांपल के तरफ से रॉयल ट्रेडर्स है उसका जो ये एड्रेस दिया और टू किसका नाम पे आया, बिल नंबर दिया, डेट दिया, इन जो पर्टिकुलर जो आया है और कुछ भी पर्टिकुलर कोई मटेरियल जो दिया इतना ये है और इसमें ये जो आया है, समझो इफ इट इज़ अ फूड प्रोडक्ट्स और एनी अदर थिंग 5% का आइटम है, तो 5% का आइटम में उसको फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल जीएसटी, उसका जीएसटी नंबर होगा और उसमें जीएसटी नंबर होना ज़रूरी है, तो जीएसटी नंबर आ गया और 2%, 2.5% है सीजीएसटी और एसजीएसटी. सीजीएसटी मीन्स सेंट्रल गुड्स एंड सर्विस टैक्स, स्टेट गुड्स एंड सर्विस टैक्स एसजीएसटी, ये दोनों मिला के 10 अंडर हो गया, तो टोटल ये हो गया. सो दिस इज़ अ कैश मेमो. इस कैश मेमो का मतलब क्या होता है? कैश मेमो मीन्स एनी मटेरियल यू आर बाइंग दैट इमीडिएटली यू आर पेइंग द कैश, or if somebody you are the business organization is selling, a business unit is selling, they get the money immediately, like that it is. So that on that basis a cash memo is issued. So this is a valid thing. Yes, this is a valid thing. There is a proper address, there is a bill number, there is a GST number. So this is in proper order. So this is a invoice, a bill or cash memo. Now I will just show you an invoice. दिस इज फूड प्रोडक्ट्स कंपनी का ये कुछ ये था, तो मैंने जैसे आपको जो रेफरेंस के लिए दे रहा हूँ. दिस इज ए लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट. यस, दिस इज अ लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट, दिस इज अ लीगल इनवॉइस, दिस इज अ टैक्स इनवॉइस. सो नाउ दिस it is the address is given, then customer number or invoice number and the GST number of this firm company, private limited company, and this contact number and the GST number of the customer. All these things are given, and the materials are sold, and the details of number, HSN code. These things are given, and the total is given. This is a proper invoice. Now these goods are sold to Ghaziabad, UP, from the address is Kerala, and the branch at Mira Road, Thane. Then this is the sold from Kerala to UP, so it's an interstate sale. That means sold within the goods are sold from one state to another state, so interstate sale. So in the case of interstate sales, the GST is charged IGST, that is integrated goods and service tax. Whereas if the sales is done within the state, then the tax is charged SGST and CGST equally. Like for example, then in that case IGST is not charged. If within the state, then GST, you know what is GST, goods and service tax. The prevailing rates of GST in India is 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%, depend upon the various goods. The taxes are separate, but when if it is an interstate sale, sales between two states, then IGST is charged. This is a common, that is total percentage, is total rate of the goods is GST is charged. Whereas within the state, if the sale is happening, suppose if it is within Maharashtra or within any other state, within the state, for example the sale is done within Karnataka or within Tamil Nadu or within Maharashtra, that tax is charged SGST and CGST equally. Now I'll just tell you example. For example, if the sale is, for example, just imagine if the sale is done within the state of Maharashtra, then this is not charged. It is taken as 2.5% and 2.5% equally. See, like that it is. So it is taken equally. And if it is 18%, for example, if it is 12%, then 6% is charged. Whereas if it is 18%, then 9% is charged, 9% charge. If it is not, if it is between two states, then the sale tax is charged. For example, if it is 12%, then interstate integrated goods and service tax, IGST is charged 12%, and if it is 18%, it is charged 18%. If it is 28%, it is charged 28%. In this case, if it is 5%, then it is charged as 5%. So I think you understood this matter. You know what is SGST, state goods and service tax, CGST, central goods and service tax, and this is integrated goods and service tax charged when the goods are transacted between or sold within between two states. So I think this concept is clear. So if it is IGST, then SGST and CGST is not taken. If within the state, then IGST is not taken, SGST and CGST is taken. So now since it is out of state, it is taken 5%. So now that this is ये हो गया टोटल, ये हो गया टोटल के ऊपर जो 5% ये टैक्स आ गया, GST आ गया, और उसके बाद में जो भी ट्रैकिंग फॉरवर्डिंग है रहेगा तो वो ऐड करके कितना हो गया 1,48,75,500, ये जो इतना हो गया, और उसका प्रॉपर साइन किया और उसका एड्रेस आ गया और ये सब जा गया वो तो पूरा. इज दिस अ वैलिड इनवॉइस? यस, दिस इज अ वैलिड इनवॉइस. Okay, so you must understand these are the methods, these are the things: date, bill number, invoice, GST number, and whether GST is charged, or all these things. Okay, so you have to understand this. Now trade discount and cash discount, when that comes, we will discuss it again. I will show you again how trade discount and cash discounts are calculated from the invoice. Now I will just show you a notebook. These are the notebooks, left part and right part, and means these are some small organization write in a notebook, because the business will be limited. it maybe means just limited few entries only. So it can be recorded in a notebook. Whereas in a register, like suppose if the number of entries are there, they by individual registers. So suppose if it is sales register, it like means suppose there are many items, then product number 1, 2, 3, 4, product 3, 5, like that, and GST and total amount. The things are called means the date, particulars, ledger folio, and these products are given. Then finally with the GST that amount is added here, and the final amount is taken. Then final total is taken here. Same way purchase register, particulars, if it is raw material or any other things like that, means raw material 1, raw material 2, raw material 3, like that, it is taken, and what is the GST paid on that, and then total amount along with that. Same way expense register, means just this is a petty cash register, we can just take it like this, or it is a means a credit, means paid by bank रहेगा तो ऐसा इसमें इसके जो ये डेट particulars, electricity, telephone, packing, stationery stores, or any other items like and plus GST and this thing is taken. Expense register, and here this can be taken as a petty cash register. So here the receipt, suppose some from the main cash book some amount is given for spending in the petty cash. So that suppose if that 5,000 rupees is given, the 5,000 is taken here, or it is opening balance. Opening balance taken the beginning of the month, and then whatever is given, it is added in the total receipt. And the date wise, that means when that expenditure is made, the details of expenditure is written here, when what are the types of expenditure taken in the particular columns. For example, conveyance, printing, delivery charges, traveling expenses, staff welfare, office expenses, GST, whatever it is given, and that is totally is taken. So now total expenses minus total receipt minus total expenditure is taken, carry forward to the next month. So I hope you understand this. These are the things you have to just understand this. Otherwise, for your general knowledge I am giving you, because again when the subsidiary registers you have to study in subsidiary register, that time we will discuss it again. So this will be a general knowledge for you. Now cash book has two parts. One is a receipt part and the other one is a payment part. These are both sides of the book register, left side and right side. So this left side is taken as a receipt side, and the right side is taken as a payment side. So here the date column, this we are means earlier times now when the manual registers were keep maintaining, that time we were taking cash column and bank column book. Means this is 2 columns, and sometimes it is 3 columns. There are 2 banks. So like that it is. So here it is it's a cash column and bank column, one bank and one cash account. So when there is opening balance, it is taken here. It is taken in here. Is a plus balance. If it is a minus balance, it is taken here. For example, cash cannot be minus, but bank can be minus, because if we are using OD or cash credit, so it will be taken in here. So if there is no OD or cash credit, then it will be a current account. Then current account, it will be a balance here. So like that it is taken, and the receipts, all receipts are taken here, all expenditures are taken this side. Date, particulars, LF amount, and cash column amount, bank column amount. Same way here, it's only difference is the payments. This is receipt side, this is the payment side, exactly the same way. And total cash received minus total cash spent, this is the balance. This is total bank amount received less amount spent, this is the bank balance. So like that it is. Then ledger. So from all these registers, like this register, cash book, this and posting is done here. Okay, the sales account, Ram's account, like that it is now the purchase account, Gopal's account, creditors account, expenditure account, like that it is. So entries I will just show you when that comes to our part, like means when we are studying, when you are going to study subsidiary registers, journal entries, then the posting, that time I will show you all these things. But you now just you have to understand, otherwise you should not get confused. Hope you understand all these things. Just now come to the thing. Again we will just revise what we learned today, difference between bookkeeping and accountancy. And we have learned that previous 2 videos, part 1 and part 2, we revised it, and today we have just taken the difference between bookkeeping also. Now let us just move to the other side. Just conclude it here. and because we cannot take it more than 30 minutes, that will be means it will bounce up upon your brain, and then you will not be able to absorb that much at a time. So it will be easy, just small in part now, means you can learn better. So revise again and again. So I have revised it, because first part 1 and part 2 we revised today, and then again just a small thing, and this is very interesting and very easy to understand. Now let us conclude the same thing what I request you every end of my video. I request all my students to study regularly. If you don't understand, watch again and again, because it is explained in a proper way, and just go through the textbook also. Means if you don't have the textbook, no need to buy that, because we have a digital textbook also. So one by one, each chapter we can just learn that. So it's not difficult. The important thing is that one thing you have to just study it, the video classes and the textbook, and notes also there. So if you don't understand, watch again and again, because I want my students to score full marks in the subject or just close to 100% mark. ये मुझे this is what I want from my students. जो भी मेरा जो स्टडी कर रहा है, जो भी मेरे साथ में जो सब्सक्राइब किया है, जो रजिस्टर किया है, और मेरा ये जो क्लासेस फॉलो कर रहा है, और मेरा जो नोट्स जो सब्सक्राइब जो दे टेक माय नोट्स एंड क्वेश्चन आंसर्स एंड सोल्व सम्स एंड ऑल. तो प्रैक्टिकल जो एग्जाम्पल्स और ये जो सब जो दे रहे हैं, जो स्टडी कर रहे हैं, उनको 100% मार्क मिलना ही है. दैट इज़ व्हाट आई वांट फ्रॉम माय स्टूडेंट्स. वो मिलेगा, 100% मिलेगा, क्योंकि वो जो प्रॉपर स्टडी करेगा तो. एंड उससे भी इम्पोर्टेंट क्या है, मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट, यू ऑल मस्ट हैव ए स्ट्रॉन्ग बेस इन द सब्जेक्ट दैट डिसाइड्स योर कैरियर. क्योंकि अगर आगे आपको कुछ सीए करने का है, ये कुछ एमकॉम, बीकॉम, एमकॉम और एमबीए, किसी से होता है ना, जब मुझे एमबीए करके ये करना है, सो दैट एमबीए और पीएचडी करना है, या सीए करना है, सीडब्ल्यू करना है, सीएमए करने का. सो दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट. जो बेस स्ट्रॉन्ग होना चाहिए, इसी से ही आगे होते हैं. सेम स्टेप्स आर सेम, खाली थोड़ा ब्रॉड हो जाता है, थोड़ा एडवांस हो जाता है. बाकी तो मेन स्टेप तो यही है. ये अगर समझ में आ गया तो यू कैन वेरी वेल take that, means that any load on you. So it is very easy and very easy to understand. It is very simple. Then take it seriously and study it. Not need to worry. So please read again and again, learn एंड प्रैक्टिस टू अचीव योर लाइफ्स गोल. लाइफ में गोल सेट करेगा, उसके बेसिस पे जो काम करेगा, वो अचीव करने के लिए जो मेहनत करेगा, यू वर्क हार्ड एंड यू जस्ट यू हैव ए गोल इन योर माइंड, यू सेट योर गोल, लाइफ्स गोल, मुझे लाइफ में ये बनना है, देन डेफिनेटली यू वर्क फॉर दैट एंड यू विल डेफिनेटली गेट इट. we have a very good talented people, we have very good talented students. अपना जो talented जो है उसको materialize करो, उसको काम करो, थोड़ा सा मेहनत करेगा तो it is possible. Now this is my message. Help each other and grow together for a better India. अपना जो इंडिया में बहुत सारा यंग, स्ट्रॉन्ग एंड स्किल मैन फॉर है, उसको जनरेट करो फॉर a better India. I request you all to share my videos to reach more and more people, so that many students and public can take the benefit of it. जितना आपके पास जो मैसेज आ रहा है, ये जो वीडियो क्लासेस है, या जो भी एड्स जो आ रहा है, जो मेरा जो सब्सक्राइब करेगा तो एक एड्स, जो शॉर्ट एड्स जो मैं पब्लिश करते रहेगा, वो भी शेयर करते जाओ, सो दैट नो मैक्सिमम, जितना भी मैक्सिमम पब्लिक को, जो व्हाट्सएप से करो और फेसबुक से करो या इंस्टाग्राम से करो या लिंक्डइन से करो, जो भी करेगा तो जो आपका जो कॉन्टैक्ट्स रहेगा उसमें कॉन्टैक्ट्स में आएगा. जो भी पब्लिक को अगर बेनिफिट होता है वो यूज़ करने दो. सो इट विल बी हेल्पफुल ईच अदर. सबको जो होता है ना, परोपकारार्थम इदम शरीरम, अपना जो है जो अपना इंसान का जो जन्म जो होता है वो एक दूसरे को हेल्प करना है. सो अगर सब कंबाइन करके जो अपना जो मेहनत करेगा तो अपना सोसाइटी के लिए डेवलपमेंट होगा और अपना नेशन के लिए डेवलपमेंट होगा. Okay, so decide in your mind and just do that and help each other and support our classes. Thank you for your attention.